So let's move on to surfacing our walls. And we want a nice wall to contrast the warm wooden floor we've created. So we're going to apply the concrete material to the walls. So let's go to item mode. Click on the walls. Turn filter on selection back. And you'll see we have a few items we'll need to cover. So the materials associated in the shaded tree are being filtered right now. So select the white wall material. It says concrete for the base. So right click on the material and just select load preset. So let's talk about presets right now. So the first thing you want to do is add a path for the preset if you don't have one already. You want to navigate to your content folder, go to presets, and select materials. If you click on materials, you'll find the Null Institute material library. These should be in your MODO content folder by default. So if you've downloaded MODO, you should have these. So let's go to concrete material. We're going to choose concrete smooth. And if you can't find an image, these images are found under pH textures, and it's called concrete, so we navigate to concrete. So this is under your Luxology 301 content, images, pH textures, concrete folder. And we want to say concrete 02 bump, so it's concrete 02 bump. Click OK, and this will load the entire preset in your material. So the first thing we want to do is highlight these layers, and we want to drag them up one level into the white walls. What that will do is take it out of the group and stick it directly under the white wall material mask. Let's highlight the old group of the preset and the old concrete material there, and click on delete. Press yes. Okay. Now the reason we do this is because if you ever use the purge unused material command, it'll actually not respect the grouping of presets, or nesting basically. So the nice thing about purge materials or unused materials is that cleans up your shaded tree pretty nicely, but things that are nested will get all screwed up. So let's click on the two concrete images. Make sure anti-aliasing is off, and click on texture locator. Under UV map, make sure you select the right map. So you'll notice there's a lot of maps that we have here. Just like before, go to list, and you'll see that there are a couple of UV maps associated with these polygons, and the ones we're going to be using are the walls. Let's go back to properties, change the textures to the UV map to walls. Obviously the images aren't visible at this point. So we're going to have to drag this above the clay material. Let's give it its own shader as well. So you'll notice the images are very big for the scene. Go back to texture locator. You can see in the render try, it's giving me horrible pixelation as well as in the viewport. Let's drag the wrap value up to something that's going to be more reasonable. Let's go to 25 and 25. You will need to experiment a bit with the values to see what best fits your scene and makes the scale reasonable, since you're not using a direct amount like 25 centimeters or 50 centimeters or 1 meter. So the first image is going to modulate the bump channel. It's got a high contrast black and white image. The second one will modulate the color, and you'll see it's a bit more subtle color to it. We have 3 gradients. The first one inputs the specular amount, and it takes that from the bump height, just like we did with the wooden floor. We don't want any reflections on the floor at this point. So this will substantially increase the render times and won't be very noticed. So we want to turn down the Fresnel reflection to 0. And let's grab the roughness to 70%. And let's lower the specular gradient to 25%. The color itself is dark, so we're going to select the color base image. And turn the opacity down to 25%. As well as instance the color channel. And set this to add. This will brighten up my lighter areas and leave my dark areas alone. And we'll set the opacity to 50%. Okay. And the original color is a default 75% gray. So that looks pretty good. Let's move on to ceiling. So the final structural element we have is the ceiling material basically being here. Now it could be a good time to delete or hide the clay material because it served its purpose for now, and most of the elements I have already changed. So you could just right-click and delete. You'll see a few more colors pop up here, which is fine. And since my ceiling is not widely visible in my shot too much, I'm not going to spend too much adjusting it. So we're going to go to Ceiling Paint, click on the material, change that nice bright yellow to a light gray or a light beige. Stay away from colors that are either 0 or 255 in value, which means don't go for pure colors, white or black or otherwise. Here we go. Because these values don't exist in real life, and more subtle colors are a lot more realistic. We're going to add an image map to our layer. So load image map, navigate to stucco, and we're going to go for stucco 016060 bump. That's okay. Again, turn off anti-aliasing for the image. Again, the image map is probably going to be too big, and we have to change the UV map to ceiling. There we go. So once you have it visible, so set the horizontal map to something like 7. I'll take it up to 8. And change the effect layer to bump. And we just want this to break up the evenness of the ceiling. So we want this down to 25% opacity. It's not going to be that visible, but if you have a high resolution render and it's there, might as well just have it like looking pretty nice. And remember to right click or shift command or shift control and save. I'm going to call this walls. So each iteration just gives me a set of names for my scene as to where I am in the texturing process.